Every single year, this is a place for winners. It is not a place for losers under these circumstances. Massive game. You can't always guarantee free-flowing quality football, but what you can guarantee is pressure, and you can guarantee drama.
Well, much has been made on in the build-up to the game about the difference in experience between these two. For what it counts for in this Queen's Park Rangers starting 11, 1,744 Premier League experiences in this Derby County 11, 19.
Yeah, and here today, this playoff final, it may count for something, but it may also count for nothing.
And he may count for something as well. Lee Mason, the man in charge of this mighty match.
That's the thing about that Premier League experience that Queen's Park Rangers squad have in abundance. They probably slightly disappointed Harry Redknapp on some occasions. Some of the bigger players, safe to say, haven't produced what they're capable of on a consistent basis, and that's why they're in the playoffs.
This is Charlie Austin, Queen's Park Rangers top scorer, operating deep, looking for Doyle. Typically wholehearted from Buxton. And this is Richard Keogh. Russell. Wisdom, one of the few additions that Steve McClaren has made to this Derby County squad that he inherited when he took over from Nigel Clough. Chase for Doyle. Wisdom can get there. And Doyle, in trying to get possession, has fouled the on-loan Liverpool man.
Well, he may have given a free kick away for that challenge, but Harry Redknapp will be pleased because he knows that his team, his players, they can't afford to give Derby County time to settle on the ball. They've got to stop them from getting into any kind of passing rhythm. And they'll want Lee Grant to have to kick the ball long. He will want to get it down and throw it out and pass it out to his defenders, but part of the Queen's Park Rangers plan has to be to make him kick it long.
Well, he hasn't really had a run in the side. Niko Kranjčar picks himself up there after that challenge from Andre Wisdom. He'll be aware, as much as anyone, of the threat of the Croat here on this Wembley pitch. Similarities, Don, to the way that these two have approached this match over the years. We've seen several different methods employed by many different managers. There's no real formula for success. Some in the fortnight between semi-finals and finals take their teams away for a warm weather break. Both these two opting for the simple approach. A couple of days off, then down to business. Normal week of preparation. There's one night in a hotel ahead of it.
Well, that's right. I think preparation, there's no reason why the preparation for this, a football game, should be much different. But certainly when the players walk out onto the pitch, into the atmosphere, it can be different.
Wonderful run this from Russell, gliding across the wet Wembley turf. QPR back in numbers. O'Neill stole it away from Hughes, but Lee Mason has given Derby the free kick.
Well, Gary O'Neill saying he got the ball, but I think what Lee Mason saw was a scissor-like challenge. You see it there, look, scissor-like challenge. He does kick the ball, but you can't tackle like that without being penalised anymore, and what it does do, it gives Derby County very early opportunity to get a strike at Robert Green's goal.
Queen's Park Rangers have pulled everyone back to defend this one. The first really meaningful moment in the first 5 minutes of this playoff final.
It's in the rain as well. The ball may be a bit slippy. Steve McClaren will want whoever takes this to hit the target and give Rob Green a test.
Russell the one to take it. The Queen's Park Rangers red and black wall, well constructed. last time Derby were here back in 2007 under Billy Davis. They were definitely underdogs. They fulfilled that role well that day. Smash and grab job against the much more fancied West Bromwich Albion. This time they come in as many people's favourites because of the form they're in, because of the way they've gone about their business, because of the way perhaps they dispatched Brighton.
Oh yeah, I mean it is chalk and cheese, isn't it? That Derby County team that smothered and strangled West Bromwich Albion, didn't let them play to this one. Very expansive football.
Austin to try to bring the pace of Hoilett into play for the first time. Forsyth, the recently called up Scottish international, gets it behind.
He knows he's got a big test on his hands. Junior Hoilett, very talented player, will run at Craig Forsyth if he gets the opportunity. And Queen's Park Rangers, their first opportunity to put any pressure on Derby County's defence.
First Queen's Park Rangers corner. Dunne and Onuoha, Clint Hill all up from the back for this one. Lee Mason trying to keep a lid on it. Individual battles in man-marking approach here. Grant thought about coming, and Dunne held himself at it.
Some great defending in there. I think it was George Thorne that managed to clear the danger there for his team.
Kranjčar hoisting it up towards and beyond the far post.
It's disappointing. A couple of disappointing moments. Johnny Russell's free kick, not of the quality he's capable of, and Niko Kranjčar there over-hitting that cross by a very long time. But you can see there now, Queen's Park Rangers will not let Derby County pass that ball out. Full court press almost, if you like, to force Lee Grant to kick the ball.
Austin is shaken off Thorne and takes it early.
Well, sometimes the best strikers have just got blinkers on when it comes to getting themselves an opportunity to strike at goal, and Charlie Austin falls into that category. We've seen him smack them in from there more than once. Lots of swerve on the ball. It's always rising.
Well, interesting that Queen's Park Rangers have here today up front two strikers in Charlie Austin and Kevin Doyle, who love playing against Derby. I mentioned earlier on their scoring record, 12 in 13. That'll bring them confidence. Here's Russell looking for Ward, switching sides those two early on, and they'll do that throughout the afternoon.
And again, another indication of how Derby want to play. They want to get the ball to these two lads, and they want them to run, commit defenders and get crosses into the penalty area. Look at the white shirts arriving. The cross isn't of the quality required, but certainly the drive and determination to make something happen is positive.
But as a former striker, you'd have had clubs that you'd have loved playing against, always scored against. Is that going to be a factor today, do you think?
It always is a factor, yeah, there's no doubt about it. There are clubs that you come up against that you always seem to score against, that the minute you set foot on that pitch, you really have a strong belief that you're going to score a goal that day. And not with Kevin Doyle and Charlie Austin. They will believe this could be their afternoon.
Martin trying to bear down and play on any indecision there may be between Rob Green and Nedum Onuoha. Well, across the pitch we've got players in both camps really who are having the seasons of their career. Here's Thorne, who really has made an impact in that Derby midfield since he was brought in on loan from West Bromwich Albion.
He just oozes quality, doesn't he, George Thorne? I know lots of neutral observers have seen Derby County games that since his arrival really picked him out as a real positive influence.
Positive for Derby, positive for West Brom, and positive for English football as well here at Wembley. He was part of the under-17 winning side back in 2010. Congratulations, by the way, to the current crop who won the European crown this week. A victory over the Netherlands. Austin, and took a different route towards the top.
10 minutes, and the game plan so far from Harry Redknapp hasn't allowed Derby County to really get their passing going, get their dynamic movement going.
You look back on over the recent history actually of this playoff final, and it is the perhaps the more pragmatic side that has prevailed. Certainly that the case last season. Crystal Palace doing a job on Watford, if you like. The year before that, likewise West Ham managing to do the same against Blackpool.
Absolutely. Well, these games they're tense, but they usually are tight. There aren't many Championship playoff finals where one team is totally dominant over another. I think 6 of the 7 that I've covered have been won by a 1-goal margin, and I wouldn't expect it to be any different here this afternoon.
The stakes can be suffocating, there's no doubt about that. 2 weeks to dwell, to mull, despite trying to shield yourself away from it, you just can't. Life-changing events, particularly for players who've never been there, which is the case for most of these for Derby.
That's the other side to Charlie Austin, you know. He's a big, strong, powerful lad who stays strong. He knows he's going to get hit by defenders, but he uses his body well to shield the ball and wins his team a free kick, gets them further up the pitch.
Danny Simpson's free kick. Here's Joey Barton. Well, he really has come to the fore for Queen's Park Rangers to try to guide them over the line towards the end of the season. His performance, particularly in the second half of that second leg where he took on the captain's armband, really helped put Wigan to the sword ultimately.
We've seen him numerous times, haven't we, on Sky Sports. We've covered Queen's Park Rangers have a big influence on the games in a very positive sense from their perspective.
Wisdom.
This is what Derby County are up against. 2 banks of 4. Queen's Park Rangers, when they're out of possession, will get that shape and say, come on, break us down if you can. And it's the right thing to do against this team. Make life difficult.
Wisdom. Hughes.
When you do that, that's what it's going to force. That long ball, which just might give the Queen's Park Rangers an opportunity to intercept.
And a chance to get Ward into the middle here. Rob Green happy to stand rather statuesque and watch it go by his far post.
Again, it's only the second time they've probably got the ball out in wide areas. Win the aerial challenge initially, doesn't he, Forsyth, and then keeps going once Derby retrieve the ball, gets it in a wide area. He's looking to wrap his foot around the ball and he just doesn't do it enough. And it's another cross that hasn't hit the area that Steve McClaren would want it to.
Well, nothing we've seen done in the 2 meetings between these sides this season would suggest it was going to be a free-scoring affair. Derby managed to prevail 1-0. Here's Charlie Austin. Brought down just outside the penalty area. That'll be a free kick here for Queen's Park Rangers. Maybe something more for Richard Keogh.
Yeah, again, Kevin Doyle, not for the first time, wins the flick on. Austin gets it. And then Richard Keogh impedes Charlie Austin there. He doesn't pull his leg away when he can. Makes connection with Austin.
Well, we've seen moments of playoff magic from almost exactly this situation. Think Charlie Adam from Blackpool a few years ago.
It's interesting, they haven't got a left footer over the ball, have they? Kranjčar and Joey Barton.
Got an assembled company lined up if Joey Barton should look to play a supporting role here. Kranjčar will leave it for Barton, off the wall.
Well, that's 1-1 in terms of free kicks. Striking the ball into the wall.
Kranjčar. And come for Doyle here. Thorne got back to cover. Hughes away. Martin couldn't get the touch. Well, you look at the season Derby County have had, and they've broken records across the board. The 85 points they got, a club record. 84 goals they managed in the regulation championship season. Top scorers in the division. They're up against a very streetwise defence here, and they're struggling to really get a foothold.
Yeah, you can see there, and just that little incident there, challengers flying in. Both sets of players are really, really up for the fight and the challenge here. Steve McClaren's team edging possession against the only team that averaged over the course of the season, seeing more of the ball than themselves. Still nothing really to cause Queen's Park Rangers too many concerns.
If you're wondering why Steve McClaren is sitting up in the stands, that is what he does week in, week out. May appear for the last couple of minutes of each half down on the touchline, but generally he looks on from a lofty vantage point. And you'll see Doyle coming forward here. Kranjčar shows for Hill. He's found some space here, Kranjčar, but couldn't find a way through a forest of bodies. And Barton.
It would have been spectacular, but a wry smile from Joey Barton. Worth a go in what's been a very, very tight game. You know what? It may take something like that, or a set piece, to break the deadlock here. And the first goal, no doubt, has been a huge factor in these playoffs. I think Cardiff City are the only team in the last 11 years that have scored first and not gone on to win promotion to the Premier League.
Yeah, they took the lead twice, didn't they?
Yeah.
Against Ian Holloway's Blackpool. And still went on to lose all those 5 goals in that one coming in the first half. You talked about these being tight affairs, and generally it only really was the emergence of Blackpool and then Brendan Rodgers' Swansea that came here and played open, expansive matches that made a difference to what was a pretty binary format in terms of 1-0 wins. That included the way that Derby got up here against West Brom with that Stephen Pearson goal.
Very tight. So much at stake. Players playing it safe. Didn't want to make a mistake. Now the referee, is that a head injury? Oh, he's fallen awkwardly. So Lee Mason perfectly entitled to let play go on, and Queen's Park Rangers not prepared. Oh, he's just stopped it now, literally.
And George Thorne is the man down.
This is what happens. It's a challenge there, and does he put his wrist down and take the weight on that right wrist? Certainly no contact on the head, I don't think.
It looks like no harm done. They'll be able to continue George Thorne.
Maybe this little break might help Derby, you know, because they haven't really settled. There haven't been a patch on the Derby County that we witnessed in the playoff semi-finals, when there was also huge pressure against Brighton. We haven't really seen Will Hughes, Jeff Hendrick, Russell Ward, Martin as heavily involved. And you've got to give Queen's Park Rangers credit for that. They've got the tactics spot on so far. But maybe that break, a few instructions from the coaching staff of Derby, might just settle them down.
Now, the general consensus seemed to be that if Derby could bring their A game here to Wembley, then they would prevail. But it's a big if. Many before have tried and many before have fallen short.
Yeah, you have to cast your mind back 12 months, don't you? There's no question that Watford were the best team, the best footballing team in the Championship the whole season. But they did not turn up here when it counted.
The best team don't always win a cup final. Here's Junior Hoilett now to try and create for Queen's Park Rangers. Touch away from Buxton. Austin keeps it alive. Kranjčar. Barton. Run by Danny Simpson.
Nice idea. Just about finding a little bit more time on the ball, isn't he, Joey Barton there? He's the one that played it out wide, made himself available again. Has been the player at Queen's Park Rangers that's probably created the most chances, but this is the man that Queen's Park Rangers really will want to see as much of the ball as possible. He does commit defenders, he's quick, he's tricky, got good balance. Ball into a dangerous area there. Eventually Derby County saw off.
Decision going Queen's Park Rangers' way here. It seems the momentum is just edging in their direction as we approach the halfway point of this first half. Derby 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
We spoke about the pace and the mobility of Derby, but they haven't turned Queen's Park Rangers. They haven't turned Clint Hill, Richard Dunne, Onuoha, Jay Simpson. It's something that is a part of their DNA, isn't it? Third man running going.
Hoilett up against Forsyth again. He's done well on that occasion. And Ward is there to help out. Martin. Derby working their way into the opposition half here through wisdom. Kranjčar has stolen it back. It was unusually ponderous from Russell there. Now Queen's Park Rangers can get forward. One back well by Thorne though.
There may be a bit of controversy if anything comes from this. Looked like George Thorne had impeded one of the Queen's Park Rangers players.
And he's still at the very heart of this move, George Thorne. Wisdom now. The Will Hughes.
Seems to have taken all of his teammates by surprise. I don't think they expected that cross to come in from Andre Wisdom. Nobody really looking to get on the end of it.
And those against Queen's Park Rangers, Steve McClaren suffered his first defeat as Derby manager when he went back to Loftus Road, the club, of course, where he started the season. Here's Ward. Derby have got a corner. Are they finally starting to arrive in a recognisable form in this playoff final?
At the last minute, they've had a couple of situations, one on the right-hand side below us, and that one on the far side, where they have looked much more like themselves in terms of the crispness of their passing.
Ward with the corner. Dunne got it out. Back in by Ward again. They had it out at the far post. Couldn't be manoeuvred back in the goalward direction by Craig Forsyth.
It's a decent situation. He just hangs out the back post. I'm not sure Clint Hill is aware that he's there. It's a poor header, really. There's no reason why Craig Forsyth isn't heading that back into a dangerous area for his teammates to capitalise on.
Well, he was here last season as part of the Watford squad, wasn't involved in the playing side of it, looking on from the stand here at Wembley. Could have really taken centre stage there. Ward. Martin. Back to Ward. Early ball looking for Hughes, who's the most advanced, the runner from midfield.
That's a nice idea. Slowly but surely you get the sense that Derby are just settling down a little bit. It took a good while, really.
Keogh. Martin. Fouled by Dunne, who come a long way to try and shackle him. Hendrick to Forsyth. Martin. Rounded out by 3, one of which is Barton. Yeah, just one goal in it when these two met. It was John Eustace header that did the damage back in February at the Wembley Stadium. A soggy Monday night. It was a 2-1 win for Queen's Park Rangers on home soil. That defeat at Derby that QPR suffered, first time they were knocked out of the top 2, they were unable to recover their composure, and since then it's been playoffs for them.
Quite ironic, isn't it, that it was Derby County that inflicted that defeat, knocked them out of the top 2s for so long. They've been in that 3-way scrap with Leicester and Burnley, and it looked very much as if it would be 2 of those 3. Most people would have said Queen's Park Rangers, with the resources and the depth of the squad that they had, were in a really good place, and weren't able to keep it going.
Well, advantage played here. It came off a hand. Ward through to Hughes. Now down goes Hughes in the box. Lee Mason perfectly positioned. He didn't feel there was a case to answer.
Well, the one thing I would say is Lee Mason could not be any closer. It's brilliant positioning from the referee. He's literally yards away from this, and Will Hughes tries the Cruyff turn on Richard Dunne there, and well, Richard Dunne hangs the leg out now. How much contact, if any? Doesn't seem to be an awful lot. I have to say, would have been soft at best. Lee Mason's position, perfect look, and he decides that the ball had got away from Hughes and that there wasn't enough contact.
And the evidence that we've seen, it looked to be the correct call from Lee Mason.
Yeah, very much so. He disagrees.
He would say that, wouldn't he?
He would indeed.
Well, the word from the Derby County camp in terms of the exclusion of Craig Bryson, the player of the year at the Wembley Stadium, and the inclusion of Will Hughes is that the back injury that Craig Bryson suffered that kept him out of the second leg against Brighton just didn't clear up in time for him to take a proper part in the build-up. So that is why he's kept in reserve, but he is in reserve among the substitutes.
Yeah, he could be useful. If the game stays as tight as it's been in the opening 28 minutes or so, he could be a very useful man to bring on to make the difference.
No doubt about it, Derby growing into it. O'Neill got there ahead of Hughes. This is Kranjčar. He's been mucked on the halfway line. And that's come off Dunne and away for a corner.
There's no doubt about it, it was travelling. And there does just seem to be a bit more life, doesn't there, and a bit more energy about Derby County, which is why they've had such an amazing season. They break the play up there and they spring in numbers. Thorne's on the outside, but Jaime Ward only got one thing in mind, that's to strike. Does strike Richard Dunne on the arm, but down by the side.
Russell's corner, looking for Martin at the near post. Off Onuoha this time. Russell again tries a similar trick. Martin couldn't get the touch. Thorne. Ward. Russell. Keogh. Martin. Kranjčar towing it to Barton. Oh, he's stolen away. It has been. Sloppy from Queen's Park Rangers, but not costly thanks to the intervention of Richard Dunne.
They just seem to be getting deeper and deeper, Queen's Park Rangers. That's what's happening. They're not getting out. They're not getting hold of the ball as they were earlier on in the game. This is what they've got to do. They've got to just get a hold of it now and just take the sting out of any momentum Derby trying to build up.
Hendrick trying to turn. And this is Danny Simpson with open ground ahead of him. Hoilett.
I think Niko Kranjčar's got a bit of a problem, you know. He's on the halfway line trying to stretch a hamstring. Just saw him make the signal over to the QPR bench. And that will be a worry for Harry Redknapp. He may have to make that change.
Well, interesting that the man he goes to is not Ravel Morrison, who would add an unpredictable creativity, but is Armand Traoré.
It's not particularly like for like, is it?
What a run this is. Absolutely superb. Will Hughes will take it on and fire it over.
Well, slightly concerning, Harry Redknapp, that Derby are finding their flow.
Well, this is a nice touch from the Derby County footballing family. Local radio presenter Colin Bloomfield is suffering with terminal cancer, and they are all rising in 31 minutes to show their solidarity and support for him. Well, Don, in recent years we've seen playoff finals turn with cruel twists of fate, injury. You think to that Cardiff one you were talking about a moment ago, Jay Bothroyd,
yeah.
Key player had to go off very early, didn't he?
And it is interesting. I just wonder whether the last 5 minutes or so, Derby County have got on top, is influencing the man coming on. Armand Traoré maybe more disciplined in sort of a defensive terms than Ravel Morrison.
Well, this is the first of a hat-trick of playoff finals tomorrow from League One. Leyton Orient against Rotherham from 2 o'clock. Sky Sports 1. And League 2 on Bank Holiday Monday. See it live with us on Sky Sports 1 from 2 o'clock. Barton against Fleetwood.
We saw something similar from Derby, didn't we, at Brighton, away in the first leg of the playoff semi-final. For half an hour they were under the cosh, and then Craig Forsyth, the left back, made a similar run to the one that he did a couple of minutes ago, and it changed everything. Won his team a penalty, saw them grow in confidence, grow in the belief, and over the 2 legs they ended up blowing Brighton away.
Well, Hoilett is looking dangerous every time he gets on the front foot. Cutting field into the path of Buxton, though.
We haven't mentioned him frequently, but every time we do, it's because he's getting the better of that Derby defence, that side, when he's running at them. Took Jake Buxton's intervention to stop him.
Forsyth's header into the path of Doyle. Simpson. Hoilett. Well, there is a perception that if there is a vulnerability to the Derby defence, it does come down their left. Craig Forsyth, for all the wonderful season he has had, and he has barely missed a minute of Derby's march to this playoff final. He is a midfielder by trade. He's not a trained defender, for what that's worth.
I do think the style of play that they've adopted does make them slightly vulnerable on occasions, hence the worst defensive record in the top 6. more than counted, isn't it, by their ability to score goals.
It might give you a chance, but their fans have had a lot of fun along the way. And here's Keogh coming out from the back, caught by Austin. We're into the last 10 minutes now of the first half. Russell. It's a deflection and a kindly one for Rob Green.
Yeah, it's favourable, wasn't it? Took all the pace off the shot. Comfortable for the goalkeeper. Those are the little pockets, though, aren't they, in between defence and midfield. Queen's Park range that Steve McClaren will encourage Johnny Russell and Jaime Ward to get into.
Here's Traoré. Blocked by Wisdom. Traoré. O'Neill. Now Clint Hill. Looking for Austin. Buxton got his head in there. Still work to do, and Thorne is the man to do it.
It's exceptional, isn't it? Tidying up in front of his own back four and then staying composed, and that's a really big thing that he's been able to bring to Derby County. Contains the ball incredibly well. Doesn't panic under pressure either.
There's a wonderful physicality combined with a wonderful technique, which makes him such a promising young player.
Good combination, isn't it?
Got a goal in him as well. As Brighton well know, among others. Also scored at Doncaster. Hoilett. Thorne goes to him, dives in, he's committed himself here. Buxton bails him out. So finely balanced, this contest. Simpson giving away a free kick there.
That's good refereeing from Lee Mason. I think he's just maybe allowed one or two players a little bit of leeway, taking the occasion into account. The last thing he wants to do is to have to send anybody off, to have that become an influence on who wins this huge game.
Well, the Wembley monsoon that we had just before kick-off has passed. The skies are brightening overhead, and this is Keogh for Derby County.
Saved them water in the pitch, didn't it?
It's got a busy few weeks. The Wembley pitch, hasn't it? Playoff finals, international. Small matter of a sold-out boxing match next weekend as well. Froch Groves. Onuoha hook it away from the on-rushing Martin.
Well, he's got that pace, hasn't he? And that side of the defence has got more pace. Nedum Onuoha and Johnny Simpson comes in handy.
Thorne. Forsyth. Martin. Ward. Upended by Onuoha.
He just makes a challenge and doesn't get anything of the ball, and no matter how far away the ball goes, that's a foul.
Plenty forward here from the Rams. Ward will take. Really good delivery as well, and Green reacted superbly. Otherwise we would have had the opener.
Well, that's the one, isn't it? That's that in-swinging free kick that if it misses everything, it might go in. And if Robert Green isn't fully concentrated, his team go a goal down there. That is wonderful goalkeeping. So many goalkeepers go for the little flick and try and anticipate, and the ball ends up in the net. And you can see what they thought.
Hughes with the corner. That's rather more routine for the former England #1. And that's a little wasteful, unfortunately for him. Ward couldn't make up the ground to keep it in.
Relieved man, isn't he? Got away with one there. Never saw him, I think that's what he's saying.
The majority of the starting 22 out here. Not much Wembley experience at all. Rob Green, one of those with more of it. Only half of his 12 England caps, 5 of the 12 in fact, coming here at the National Stadium. Also a winner here with West Ham United in the playoffs a couple of years ago. The most experienced Wembley performer out there has since exited stage left, Niko Kranjčar. Here's Ward, trying to slip it through for Martin. Unable to react. Wisdom, Ward. And Hill gets the free kick.
Derby not happy with that. Just takes the pressure of his team.
Well, Queen's Park Rangers and their fans have certainly enjoyed the build-up to this match. For a ground that holds under 20,000 Loftus Road, they've managed to sell over double that. 40,000 and fill their allocation here at Wembley Stadium. First trip for the Super Hoops to Wembley for 28 years. Do you sense it's going to be a long afternoon for Tony Fernandes?
I think it's been a long season for Tony Fernandes.
It's been well documented, hasn't it? The financial issues on this match and the financial issues that Queen's Park Rangers had without it. Forsyth. Hughes. Well, Dunne, it's ebbed one way and another this first half. Queen's Park Rangers controlled the opening stages of it, and Derby had their spell.
This is more like the Derby I've been used to seeing, I have to say. Much more controlled possession. And this is dangerous.
Clint Hill's done really well, and he's found Traoré, who's leading the Queen's Park Rangers charge here. Armand Traoré, the substitute. Seemed to get a bit of a nosebleed as he got into the penalty area.
Well, Clint Hill does well and gives it to Armand Traoré, and this is who Harry Redknapp would want on the ball. Possibly, arguably, the quickest player that Queen's Park Rangers have. So why is he not then running at Richard Keogh, knocking the ball past him and trying to make something happen? He must be doing much, much better than that.
Decision-making, one of the many aspects of the game that can be affected by this occasion.
Well, plenty of attempts from both teams, but it will bear out what we all know. Only really that main save from Rob Green from the free kick, the only save that you would say was decent. So they really are not working the goalkeepers as much as either of them would want to so far.
Hendrick and Forsyth. One back by Barton. This is now Doyle into 1 minute of added time. Doyle for Queen's Park Rangers. What a challenge that is by Thorne, and it's a platform for a Derby break led by Keogh. Ward, Keogh, and Ward again.
Just trying to force that. No need for Jaime Ward to try and force that ball. It's a good situation, but this man's having a storm in first half, isn't he? Wonderful defensive cover, perfectly timed challenge. But again, good refereeing from Lee Mason. He wasn't far away from that. He was able to see that George Thorne clearly got the ball.
He's back down on the touchline, Steve McClaren. Ready for the half-time team talk. Won't be much time for anything else after this little passage of play that Will Hughes collects. And that is that. Very, very little between the sides that finished third and fourth in the Sky Bet Championship, and the save from Rob Green, really the key moment of the first half, denying Jaime Ward from a free kick. Half-time at Wembley. Derby County 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
Well, last season when Crystal Palace met Watford, we had to wait until the 105th minute. We were into extra time before we got the breakthrough that came from the penalty spot via Kevin Phillips. You sense this one could be going all the way with an entire season on the line for these two sides. Uwe Rosler alongside Peter Beagrie and also Sean Dyche with me here in the studio. It's been tight, it's been tense. You'd expect that, but it's Derby who've come the closest, and were Hughes's appeals justified? Where it's locked at 0-0 between Derby County and Queen's Park Rangers and Sean Dyche as the second half continues. Does it become more about not making a mistake than going for it?
Well, I think that games like this, of course, we know they can be won on sheer talent and a moment of class, but they can also be, you know, games can change on a mistake, on a loss of focus, a loss of concentration, and the more the game drags out at 0-0, that could have its part to play. I think QPR with their experience could edge it, but equally, if Derby come to life and bring the tempo to the game, it plays into their hands. Real tight one.
OK, let's rejoin our commentators. We are ready to go here then in the second half. What will it bring, or are we heading like we did last year to extra time? Let's find out at the company of Don Goodman now. Once again, Bill Leslie.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers ready to get us underway in this second half on what is their first Wembley appearance in a playoff final. First appearance at this new Wembley. Derby County looking to repeat the feat. One second half goal did it for them in 2007. All the hallmarks of this one is that it could be equally as tight, the winning margin. Which way? Well, that's another matter.
I think the message from both managers will be, make sure when you leave this pitch here today, do not have any regrets. Try and do the things that you've been asked to do. Keep focused, keep your discipline. Do not have any regrets. That will be the message.
Well, one of the things that makes this such an appealing occasion, such an extraordinary sporting stage, is the fact that we know what the prize is for victory, but you're never quite sure exactly how a side will react to coming second best on this one. You can rise again or certainly fall away. Here's Jaime Ward, the club that he graced the playoff final here at Wembley with and was sent off for in the final against Burnley. For example of the way it can go wrong, currently playing their football in the third tier. Sheffield United, Bristol City as well, third tier.
Fine lines, it's to be said.
It's reasons like that that we say occasions like this are so seismic in players' futures and clubs' futures. Some may get another chance. For others, well, this might be as good as it gets. Dunne. Hendrick turning away from trouble. O'Neill winning it back well. Traoré.
We never really got to see much of Charlie Austin or Kevin Doyle in the first half, did we? Living on scraps, really. Working hard for their team, getting behind the ball in order to make it hard for Derby County.
And here's Martin. Barton took it away from Onuoha to Hughes, to Ward. A Derby County roar from the 40,000 behind Rob Green's goal. Both sides attacking the end that houses their respective supporters in this second period. Hughes, Forsyth. Ward looking for the give and go with Hughes. So tricky to hold on to. Danny Simpson couldn't manage it. Ward deflected cross. Dunne is there at the near post. Now Austin. Sunshine over the National Stadium in the early stages of this second half. Makes a difference to the deluge we had this time in the first half.
Seeing sort of echoes of last season's playoff final, aren't we, when Watford came into the tie as the so-called expansive team, and Crystal Palace came in as the team that really well organised, defended well, carried all the threats, and they prevailed. There's no doubt about it, Queen's Park Rangers have got their tactics spot on in terms of attempting to win this game. The only thing is, can they find a little bit more cutting edge going forward? Kept very quiet.
Doyle might have caught his compatriot Keogh there, and a glare between the pair of them, but Lee Mason felt there was nothing doing that. Hoilett, Simpson. Doyle. Keogh to Thorne.
He's been outstanding, hasn't he? Really is. A very, very composed young man.
There is a mark of a player of a certain quality who always seems to have that extra little bit of time on the ball, and George Thorne is one who certainly has that quality. Ward looking to release Russell, who might have the pace to get there ahead of Dunne. He had him worried.
I have to say that is the closest that Derby County have been to getting in behind Richard Dunne and Nedum Onuoha. See the intent. Richard Dunne did just enough.
Ward coaxes an increase in the decibel level from those Derby supporters. There's his delivery. Green is blocked off, but Dunne was there first. Simpson didn't get that one quite right. It's not what they used to call a threepenny bit header.
It is, 50 pence. Brilliant defending by Richard Dunne in the first instance, but Jay Simpson, I'm sure, trying to head that for a throw-in rather than a corner. Pray that nothing comes of this.
Hughes will try and ensure it does for Derby. It's back with the 19-year-old. He's taken it away from O'Neill. Will Hughes, it's another Derby corner.
Maybe for the first time, they've just got to dig deep here, Queen's Park Rangers. They are doing a couple of terrific defensive headers from those two good quality corners.
Well, earlier on this season, Queen's Park Rangers were the masters of the clean sheet, masters of the 1-0 win, particularly away from home. They've lost that art. They're being asked questions here, though. Hughes, and Dunne, getting himself right place, right time. Hughes again. It's one to attack. Keogh is the man to do that. Still no way out for Harry Redknapp's side. Dunne again, the last line of defence. Wisdom will collect here for Derby. Russell.
Now at last, a little bit of relief. That was a big 3 or 4 minutes, wasn't it? Derby County getting set pieces, getting crosses into the area, asking questions of that Queen's Park Rangers defence. I'll be pleased about that. And Harry Redknapp will be pleased that his defenders, that have been the strength of his team really all season, stood firm.
Bobby Zamora pretty much single-handedly changed the momentum in that playoff semi-final second leg at home against Wigan when he came on. He's getting instructions there from Harry Redknapp, presumably to do just the same here when his moment comes, and it looks like that moment is approaching fast. Kevin Bond briefing the big man.
I seem to remember him scoring a playoff winning goal back in the day.
Different stage, different city, but very similar implications.
It's good pressure from Will Hughes. It would have been easy for the young midfielder just to give up, allow that back pass to go comfortably to Robert Green, take a comfortable touch and clear the ball. The midfielder's industry is one his team are throwing.
Now that might just have come off the shins of Onuoha. Indeed it did. Corner given.
He took his time there, didn't he, Lee Mason? He wasn't certain that he was 100% sure.
Well, presumably he was taking guidance from his assistant, who's on the far side. On this near, Ward will take. Hoilett. Done well to get away from Ward, just couldn't feed the pass to Armand Traoré. Well, if the first half Don was spent with these two just jabbing unconvincingly at times at each other, there is a feeling from fans to players that this is just starting to build up.
Derby have just been able to push Queen's Park Rangers further and further back at the start of this second half, but Queen's Park Rangers there know that they've got the pace in Hoilett and Traoré to hurt Derby County on the counter-attack, so they're delicately balanced.
Hughes. Well, he thought that Russell would be a runner, and that's the area that he played the ball into. Forsyth stabbing back. Bobby Zamora's introduction is imminent. Wembley is crackling just now. Charlie Austin. Buxton anticipated well. This is Doyle. Now Traoré. Now Austin! Just wide.
That's the moment. That was the moment that he's been waiting for, and you would put your house on him, wouldn't you, to hit the target at least. But watch him, he gets floored there by Buxton, but he gets himself into an area where he can score a goal and get the shot. It's pulled back to him, and it's agonisingly close. He just doesn't get the kind of crisp contact or the direction that he's looking for, and that is the biggest chance of this playoff final so far.
He talked in the build-up to the match to Patrick Davidson about unfinished business here at Wembley. He very nearly had a chance to finish it there. There's the change made. Doyle off, Zamora on. No surprise with that. That's 2 of the 3 substitutions used now by Harry Redknapp and Queen's Park Rangers.
It's interesting, and it just shows you how delicately poised we are, doesn't it? Because it's been Derby County that asked the more questions in this second half, albeit lots and lots of corners racking up and stacking up without attempts at Rob Green's goal. But in a flash, the game could have been turned on its head there.
Ambitious run from O'Neill. Ward. Has he shown too much to Barton? Yes, he has. Hoilett lost his footing, but he hasn't lost the ball. He's got Simpson overlapping. Austin!
Again, I think he just tries to hit this too hard. That's the only mistake here. Jaime Ward overruns the ball and he comes off hurt there in that collision. And Hoilett eventually feeds the ball into a dangerous area. It finds its way to Charlie Austin. He's trying to wrap his foot around it, but he's under pressure and he's leaning back.
Well, of the last 8 goals that Queen's Park Rangers have scored since his return from that shoulder injury, he's scored 5 of them. There was enough time before the end of the season to get him back fit and firing again. In the space of as many minutes, he had 2 chances, which is more than he'd had previously. Oh, chance here for Russell, in behind, brought down. Now that may well be big trouble here for Gary O'Neill. It's outside the box, so no question of a penalty. But did Lee Mason see him as the last man?
No. I think there was some cover, you know, and I think that's why Gary O'Neill, who's walking over there, I think that's why Lee Mason hasn't given a straight red immediately, because there is a little bit of cover within the vicinity. There's no doubt about that. The trigger was about to be pulled, but does that make it a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity? We're about to find out.
Red card in the playoff final for Gary O'Neill.
Big call, big call. I mean, they do brilliantly, don't they? Russell, little nutmeg there, and Gary O'Neill brings him down. I think it's Clint Hill coming from the side, but he's too far behind. I mean, it's cynical in the extreme. You see Clint Hill there arriving on the scene, but he's a bit late. And I don't think there's any doubt Johnny Russell would have been clean through one-on-one with Rob Green.
Only the 4th red card in a playoff final at this level, and that man wearing number 10 for Derby received one for Sheffield United. He was the first. He knows about that walk of shame. More pressingly and more presciently right now, he knows about this chance for Derby County right on the hour mark. There are 40,000 fans behind the Rob Green goal. Ward takes, and the wall does its job.
Well, you know what? It remains 0-0, and we know the strength of Queen's Park Rangers is their defensive resilience. We know that. We saw it in the semi-finals against Wigan. We've seen it all season long. That may well turn out to be not a bad decision by Gary O'Neill.
Dunne again getting his head to it. And there's the pressure release they were looking for. Just a chance to take stock, reorganise. Remember, Harry Redknapp has used 2 of his 3 substitutions. Lee Mason making that big decision. Now let's have another look at it here.
That's the nutmeg, and then you see Clint Hill coming from the other side there. It's cynical by Gary O'Neill. He knows exactly what he's doing. He wants to stop Russell getting into the penalty area, getting 1v1. And that's the reason Lee Mason's position there, you see, wasn't just sure about the cover. Took his time, communicated with his assistant, and he has got the decision right. There's no doubt Johnny Russell was clean through.
Well, it's given Derby an absolutely huge lift, and this is an enormous 10 minutes for Queen's Park Rangers.
Well, it is. You spoke about all that experience, Premier League experience. They are going to need it now if they're going to be a Premier League club next season.
All season for Queen's Park Rangers, it's felt at times that they've been swimming against the tide. Expected to win, expected to run away with this league. Given the state of the dressing room and the squad at the end of last season that Harry Redknapp inherited, had to sort out. It's never been as simple as it seemed from the outside. Here's Russell to run at Queen's Park Rangers again. Dunne comes out to meet him. Hughes. The jump went out of play.
I was going to say, Harry's got a big decision. He's literally just brought Bobby Zamora on, a 2-second striker, to be up there with Charlie Austin. Who is he going to sacrifice to get Karl Henry on the pitch? How are they going to play this?
Hoilett. It was Sean Dyche was saying at half-time, wasn't it, Don, about how these finals can be won by moments of magic, moments of inspiration, or mistakes. Gary O'Neill, whether he was forced into it or not, making that challenge.
Well, if he had his time again, I'm sure he wouldn't make the challenge, because you trust Rob Green, you have to believe that your goalkeeper can bail you out and make saves. That's what they're there for. And by the same token, even if you do go behind, QPR have got a decent track record. They went behind to Wigan in the semi-final of turning things round. So in that instant, it's a bad decision by Gary O'Neill. But if Queen's Park Rangers hang on and end up getting to penalties and winning, then it will be a good decision maybe by Gary O'Neill. So we'll wait, we'll remain to see what happens.
And still Karl Henry waits to come on, and still we wait to see who will come off. On by Simpson to Hoilett. No way beyond Forsyth.
It's a very difficult decision. Harry Redknapp can't take Charlie Austin off, can you, Junior? Hoilett is a player that can run with the ball and get you up the pitch. Zamora's only just come on. Very difficult.
Ward. Barton into the path of Russell. He's got away with that one to an extent, Joey Barton. Felt he should have had a call to tell him what was about him. Hendrick.
Interesting for Derby as well. You know, they can't afford to believe that red card means this job is done, because it isn't. Can't afford for any complacency, Derby County.
Well, I think Harry Redknapp was mulling over the decision. Junior Hoilett was going to be the man to come off, but it's not. It's Clint Hill. It won't be a problem in that Armand Traoré will drop into the back line. There'll be a reshuffle ahead of him. The captain's armband will be passed to Joey Barton. And before the three-quarter mark of the match, 10-man Queen's Park Rangers have used all their substitutions. We still have the possibility, of course, of extra time and penalties to follow. Meantime, Derby County will make a couple of changes. By the look of things, Johnny Russell replaced by Simon Dawkins, another of the McClaren loanees brought in to bolster the squad after he took over. And a few raised eyebrows when he was left out of the side, Craig Bryson, but the Derby Player of the Year, listen to that roar to greet him, comes on to replace Will Hughes. 16 goals from midfield, the Scotsman this year.
It'll be the same system.
Martin, cut out by Simpson, no handball.
afraid to make brave decisions, is he, Harry Redknapp? Moving Ravel Morrison out, for instance, in the second leg of the semi-final. Big decision. What he's done here is he's left three very attacking players out there in the hope that they can maybe nick him a goal on the break, or from a set piece maybe.
Ward. Thorne. Movement through the middle from Bryson. This is Forsyth. Dunne standing strong. Derby fans appeal for a push. It's not going to come. Hendrick. And usually he waits a little later than this, but it's not usual that the situation and the stakes are as high as this. Oh, wonderful run in behind here. And a save from Rob Green. So nearly the perfect impact.
Running in behind Bryson. Works the half a yard, gets a powerful shot, but Rob Green not going to be beaten at that near post.
And that's what he does, Craig Bryson. Those unexpected surges. Ward's corner. Traoré's clearance. Bryson narrow header, Barton. Martin!
Well, it's a corner. Can only presume that Rob Green has saved this. It was flying. And good football. Got them in behind Queen's Park Rangers.
Ward's corner, glanced away by Zamora. Thorne. Bryson. Still going, Bryson. Derby are purring now. Coming at Queen's Park Rangers from all angles. And it's put over the top by Keogh.
So many bodies in there now, trying to get that elusive goal for Derby County. They're turning the heat up. Well, Queen's Park Rangers are going to need a big performance from their goalkeeper if they're going to survive this. Bryson pulls it back. Martin at that near post. That is a big, strong left arm from Rob Green. Good angles, and it's a good save.
Thorne beyond Zamora, looking for Ward. Traoré pressurised.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? Derby County fans screaming. Thought that was a back pass. Jaime Ward makes a run inside Traoré. Well, that's his touch there. He doesn't touch it after that, so it's clearly not a back pass.
What it is, though, is one-way traffic at the moment.
Yeah. You can't really expect it to be anything else. They are making the pitch very big, and they're playing against 10 men. The perfect way to do it, Derby County.
Forsyth too close to Rob Green, but not too far away from Chris Martin.
Well, their philosophy has to be, if you knock at the door enough times now, Derby, eventually it will open for you.
Gary O'Neill had taken his place in the stand watching the games, and he's going to have to go back into the bowels of Wembley after his red card. What a devastating detachment from the main event for Gary O'Neill. Now it's down to the 10 who remain for Queen's Park Rangers to try and make sure it's not one of the lowest points of his career. Wisdom. Buxton. Thorne. other pieces all falling into place for Derby here. Dominant in most departments, but the one that really matters, still Derby 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0.
They will know, and if they didn't know before the sending off, they'll know in the intermittent period since the sending off. Not going to be easy breaking down this very well organised and disciplined Queen's Park Rangers defence. Well, there you go. Gary O'Neill sent off 13 minutes ago. That just highlights that the way the game's going, I'm sure Harry Redknapp would have expected it to go that way, but his team still hanging on in there.
Hendrick. Martin. Dawkins the man in the middle. Dawkins brings it down, but he's offside.
The crowd only just realised.
He initially joined on loan, Simon Dawkins from Tottenham, and his deal was made permanent back in January. Such as the recent form, though, of that front trio of Johnny Russell, Jaime Ward and Chris Martin, is that recently he's just had to look on.
He has to be prepared to come on and make a difference in games, and he's been that. I was going to say, just need to look at this as if there's not 15 minutes still to go. They, of course, have an extra half an hour with a one-man advantage, so they need to just stay patient, not try and force it too much, but make sure they're disciplined enough to keep Queen's Park Rangers out the other end.
Forsyth. Bryson looks for the return, gets it. Barton couldn't stop him. Dawkins! Another save from Green, it's Ward! I think that's come off Chris Martin and gone behind.
It has come off Chris Martin. And I wonder whether that's the first sign that it might not be Derby County's day. Brilliant football again. That's a wonderful touch from Bryson. He goes, gets the return from Dawkins, plays him in. It's a good save from Rob Green, but then that strike from Jaime Ward hits Chris Martin and goes harmlessly away. Looked as if it may have been on target. Still got one roll of the dice up his sleeve as well, hasn't he? The luxury of a substitute left, Stephen McClaren. He feels he needs it. For me, they're not doing too much wrong, Derby County. You've got to give credit to Queen's Park Rangers and their resilience.
Rangers hanging in there, Rangers on the ropes, Derby dominant, but inside the last 15 minutes now. Wisdom. Ward. Dawkins. Derby settled for the corner.
They must be mounting up now, these corners that Derby County are gaining. Queen's Park Rangers defending manfully. Look at that. It doesn't.
Most of those corners that just saw illustrated there have been met by Richard Dunne, and he did the same again there. Volleyball looking for Martin. It's another one away from Dunne. Thorne. Barton. No way out. Ward got the challenge in. It's excellent pressing from Derby to ensure there's no way out for Queen's Park Rangers. Hendrick now. Charlie Austin with the block.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Jeff Hendrick just needs to stay patient. Not going to score from 40 yards, I don't think.
Traoré. Yet again, Queen's Park Rangers have to set themselves to defend a Derby corner.
Well, they've done so manfully so far, but Jaime Ward is trying the exact same set piece. He's just trying to dink it into that near post area for the runners time after time, and I would think Queen's Park Rangers have got wind of that.
Forsyth went near post. Thorne. Dawkins. Bryson. Ward. He fancies his chances against Armand Traoré, but the former Arsenal man in what could be his last game for Queen's Park Rangers, in that he's out of contract in the summer, doing the job. The ultimate weekend continues live on Sky Sports, live from Lisbon. A madrileño affair, Real against Atletico from 6, Sky Sports 1. Meantime, here in the North London sunshine, nothing to separate these two. Zamora coming close, testing Keogh. And goes Keogh rather theatrically.
And he was nudged. Not a big nudge. Enough for Lee Mason to blow the whistle.
I think Bobby Zamora felt he rather made a meal of it as well, the Derby captain. Buxton. Well, they've had 20 minutes against the 10 men of Queen's Park Rangers. They've had them worried, they've had them hanging on, but they haven't put them to the sword yet.
And you will start to believe, is it not quite going to be your day? When you're against 10 men, when you're taking shots that hit the back of your own player, and the opposition goalkeeper is in fine form, doubts will, the longer it goes, start creeping into the minds of those Derby County players, certainly into the minds of the fans.
Dawkins to up the tempo, find Martin. Thorne.
They've got no out ball now, because Zamora dropping back to help the defence means that when it's cleared, it is just gonna keep coming straight back.
And the top scorers in the Sky Bet Championship find a goal in these last 10 minutes at Wembley. Forsyth. That was an awkward one, bouncing just in front of Rob Green, but he has not put a foot wrong so far, or a glove for that matter.
Dunne has been excellent. Shot stopping has been excellent.
If we're nitpicking, there was just that one wayward throw in the first half, wasn't there?
Yeah, I didn't want to go there.
In short, he's the reason that the score is still as it is. Some important saves, both in first and second halves. Thorne. Buxton. Thorne in space. Bryson ahead of him. Dawkins. Dawkins. QPR had bodies back, but they took their eye off Bryson. That's dangerous. Martin still remains in the middle. Dawkins. Bryson. Dawkins resists the temptation to shoot, seeks wisdom.
And that's how to let the wind out of the sails. A poor pass, isn't it? Takes the pressure off Queen's Park Rangers, and they can take their time getting the ball back in now. Redknapp's team.
8 months of championship action condensed now into the last 8 minutes. 11-men derby against 10-men Queen's Park Rangers. Buxton on the ball. Bryson. Dawkins. On the way from one, but not from two, and Simpson goes down under the challenge from Dawkins.
They're just finding it hard, aren't they, to get in behind Queen's Park Rangers. They have defended manfully. Opposition have got a good shape. And of course, Queen's Park Rangers are defending everything that gets thrown into their penalty area. And when Derby do get strikes at goal, Rob Green proving a good barrier.
Well, they score, that's what they do. They've scored in all but one of their last dozen games, and that was in the defeat away against Middlesbrough. 21 goals in their previous 8. Goals coming from all areas, but they can't find one here against Queen's Park Rangers, who've barely come out of their own half since they went down to 10 men.
Well, they may not have to come out their own half. That's the long and the short of it. If they can hang on here, keep Derby at bay, they can take their chances in a penalty shootout. Has to be at the back of their minds now.
Bryson. Barton goes with him. Kept alive, Forsyth. The next wave for Derby. Looking for Dawkins, might fall to him. Onuoha ensured it didn't. And it's a free kick for Queen's Park Rangers.
There's some heroics back there, isn't it? Knew he was going to take one here. Nedum Onuoha. He works it well. And as it bounces up there, he knew clear the ball, he was going to take one. But it's worth it. It really is worth it.
It's always a great occasion, this championship playoff final, and it's a record-breaking attendance. The Dean Windass goal, Hull against Bristol City back in 2008, the previous highest. New standard set here today of over 87,000. Half of those are going to be desolate, whether it be in 5 minutes' time or whether it be in 35 minutes' time. Bryson. Opportunity was certainly knocking for him and for Derby there.
They just can't find that final piece of the jigsaw. They're oh so close. But it's the quality of the final ball, the final cross, the final shot. Just missing.
Buxton. Forsyth. Done away.
Seems like he'll defend that all day long, won't he? He's got his head on nearly every cross, every corner. It's gone into the penalty area.
Bryson up against Barton. This is Martin. Now Dawkins. Hendrick deflected. And again, the break is a kindly one for Rob Green.
You don't need to tell us what he's thinking, do you?
Austin looking for Zamora. And we're going to see the old rope-a-dope here from Queen's Park Rangers. They've just been soaking it up for the last 20 minutes. But there are goals in this QPR side. There are real threats amongst their 10 men if they decide to release them from defensive duties. But that would be high risk. And said that's the highest of reward. Bryson. Ward. And slide it in for Dawkins. The door closed by Traoré. Charlie Austin always lost out. Bryson. Ward. Looking for Martin, only finding Green.
Charlie Austin will be a relieved man. That is the danger of when you're down to 10 men. Have a striker just drop back and drop deeper. Goes against his natural instinct, isn't it?
Well, at times the commitment and the togetherness of this expensively assembled Queen's Park Rangers squad has been questioned. I think an answer has been given in these closing stages here today of how they are all together for the common cause. Hoilett digging deep against Derby to keep their season alive, keep their dream alive of an immediate return to the Barclays Premier League. Barton has it back.
Well, he didn't hit the target, but that's just how easy it would be for Derby County to switch off. Miscontrol by Bryson. Barton takes advantage. Derby racking them up. Queen's Park Rangers yet to hit the target.
Let's cut it out. In the last minute of the 90s, Zamora for Queen's Park Rangers.
That's where he just needs a runner, doesn't he? He needs Armand Traoré or Junior Hoilett to give him an option. Those fans, though, seeing their team slowly but surely get further up the pitch and just starting to believe a little bit.
Well, Hoilett's got the better of Buxton. Puts it into an area. Keogh! Zamora! Unbelievable! From the very brink of elimination, Bobby Zamora has surely scored another playoff winner.
Well, can you believe it? They can't. They are going to be heartbroken unless their team can find something very, very quickly. But we said Queen's Park Rangers got themselves up the pitch, and from there it's just a throw-in. Junior Hoilett battles and scraps, and he wants it, doesn't he? And he wins it, and then he just puts it into a dangerous area, and that is the heartbreaking moment from Derby County skipper Richard Keogh. Doesn't clear the ball, straight to Bobby Zamora, and that is an emphatic finish. It's a wonderful strike. First shot on target, and it's the big one. It's the one that counts.
Nine years ago in Cardiff, he scored the goal that took West Ham back to the Premier League. Derby make a change. Bamford comes on to try to save the day for Derby.
Well, they can't afford to be subtle now. They've just got to get the ball in there, Derby. But not like that.
Well, confirmation of that change, Jaime Ward was the one who made way for Bamford. But absolutely extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary.
Every year they throw up these stories, don't they? These playoffs, they are dramatic. They are tense. But they give you drama of the highest order. And they give you deflation of the highest order as well.
Well, the only question for most of the second half of the Derby fans was when, not if. One-way traffic, almost from start to the finish of the second half, even before Gary O'Neill was sent off. Now they find their whole season sliding away.
You go back to that decision that Gary O'Neill made. It's looking pretty good now, isn't it? 30 seconds that will go very quickly, I'm sure, for Derby County.
Well, Harry Redknapp nearly broke into unrestrained celebration on that Bobby Zamora goal. He quickly put a lid back on it. And in 30 seconds or so time, the roof is going to come off here at Wembley.
You wondered,
half of it anyway, Don.
Yeah, you wondered. Shots hitting your own players. Goalkeeper playing well. Not finding the right quality of cross, the right quality of finish. You wondered whether it wasn't going to be your day.
Martin's in there, Onuoha's back there. Bamford goes for the overhead. Barton was the man to throw himself at it. Derby corner.
Yeah, last chance saloon. Lee Grant will go forward, the goalkeeper. They've just got to go for it.
Well, this is it. This is everything, absolutely everything for Derby County. Perhaps a little bit more than that for Queen's Park Rangers and their 10 men. It's loose. Keogh, chance for redemption for him, but he's hooked it away for a throw.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. You wonder whether it was going to be a moment of magic, a mistake, a set piece. It usually is one of those things. These games are usually tight. This has been no exception. And you're going to feel sorry for Richard Keogh and Derby County.
In the 5th minute of added time, that is that. Bobby Zamora has done it for Queen's Park Rangers. Bouncing back to the Barclays Premier League. It is hooped heaven at Wembley. The unlikely win to take them back to the big time. He's been called Harry Houdini in the past, but how on earth has he and Queen's Park Rangers pulled this one off? The old stager Bobby Zamora with the goal right at the death to leave Derby County in a heap, to dash their dreams, but to mean that it is Queen's Park Rangers who head back with the most dramatic of late Wembley twists.
Well, first of all, commiserations to Derby County. The players, their fans, it is heartbreaking, but Bobby Zamora, £120 million goal. And I'll tell you something, he's going to be the one that gets the headlines, but for me, Richard Dunne, Nedum Onuoha, that defence, the defending, they were under siege, and they all stood up, and they were all counted, and they were all manful, and they were all up for it. In a season where, you rightly say, some of them have been accused of not being up for the fight. Well, they were, and they have taken the biggest prize, the very biggest prize.
Well, what an effort from Queen's Park Rangers to gain promotion and join Burnley and Leicester. Let's get some reaction and join Jonathan Oates.
Richard, Bobby, many congratulations. A stunning win. Richard, just try and put your feelings into words for us.
Oh, it's amazing. It's been such a long, hard season. So many knockers and so many people against us at times. And to come here and then the way the game progressed, it was looking difficult. But Bobby's been outstanding every time he's come on this season. And he deserves that goal because he worked so hard.
What did you think when you went down to 10 men? Did you fear the worst?
We did a bit. We know how good we can be defensively when we work. In the last couple of weeks, we've worked really hard on it. So it was just a case of doing what we done against Wigan and shutting up shop. And when the chance came, Bobby was there to finish it.
Bobby, you're the hero with the winner. What was going through your mind when the ball fell to you?
Just take a shot, hit the target. Just set up perfectly for my left foot. You know, that's the one I want to curl balls with, whip balls with. Thankfully, you know, it fell to that left foot and 1-0 again in the playoffs, you know, scored a winner. It's a magnificent feeling. Never thought I'd happen again, but it has, and over the moon for this set of lads, you know. Worked hard all year, really have. It's a massive win for us.
Is that the most important goal you've ever scored?
Well, I scored the winner for West Ham, you know, to get him back in the Premiership as well, so equally as important as well, you know, so a massive game, and so pleased for all the lads, everybody, you know, have dug in the last couple of months, you know, properly, and what a team spirit we've got now.
What can you say about your defensive colleagues today to repel Derby in that second half?
Yeah, brilliant. As Joey would say, band of brothers. But yeah, great togetherness, and you know we've showed that this season in the last playoff games as well. Exactly the same. You know, togetherness, never going to die, fight to the end, and we did that.
Richard, what does it mean to get this club back in the Premier League?
it's a great feeling. It's what we've been aiming for all year, and we missed out on our main aim, which is automatic, but now we've done it through the playoffs, and it's so important for the club going forward, and hopefully it's the start of a bright future for the club.
Well played, enjoy the celebrations. Bobby, if you do the honours for us, Richard Dunne is the Sky Bet man of the match.
Well, after Gary O'Neill had been sent off, what a performance from Richard Dunne in defence today, bringing all his 34 years of experience into the pressure cooker of a playoff final. But for that man there, what a story that is. The winner for West Ham in the Championship playoff final back in 2005 at the Millennium Stadium against Preston. He's done it again for Queen's Park Rangers in what was their only shot on target in the entire game. It came on 89 minutes and 50 seconds. They're heading back to the Premier League. Uwe Rosler, Sean Dyche and Peter Beagrie alongside. We will hear from the manager and loads of players to come in a minute. But Sean, in that one moment, it summed up just what a mad game this beautiful game of football is.
Oh, incredible. You know, Derby in control for obvious reasons against 10 men. Harry set his stall out to defend it out. Well, that's certainly how it looked. The law of what more chances. I mean, I believe in you always get a chance, and a bad mistake. Unfortunate for a player who's been outstanding, but a fantastic finish from Zamora.
Yeah. The agony from Richard Keogh, the joy from Bobby Zamora. Let's hear then from the manager of Queen's Park Rangers, Harry Redknapp, is with Jonathan Oates.
Harry, many congratulations. You're back in the Premier League. How did you do it?
I don't know. We were hanging on with 10 men, you know. Suddenly it took Weldy, a fantastic finish, and it was just amazing. We were just, to be honest, we were looking to try to hang in there, maybe take the game to penalties. They're a good side. You know, they were getting in gaps. We had 10 men. We were hanging on for our lives, really. Everyone worked hard. And we end up a fantastic goal to win the game. So I couldn't be more pleased.
They had you penned in for most of the second half. Could you see a goal coming?
No. I'd be a lie if I stood here and said I can see us scoring. No. They got 11 men. They were probing. Rob Green was making saves. We was hanging on, you know. And then we go and score a bit of a Weldy. So.
What did you make of the sending off?
I thought he wasn't last. I don't think he was the last man. You know, I thought there was a defender behind him. It was a bad challenge. You know, he was cleaning on. He was going in on goal. I wouldn't argue about it, but I didn't think he was the last man. I thought he'd give him a yellow, but that's life.
What did you think at that point? Did you fear the worst?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought we'd bang in trouble then, you know. But they showed great character lately, the boys, and they've come back, and it was amazing.
How does this rank in all your achievements in football, Harry?
Well, that was a one-off. I mean, where do you stand on a touchline watching a game, hanging in there for grim death, and you go and nick a goal like? That's what makes it the best game in the world. It's just you can't, you can never tell, can you? It's, you know, that's what it means to these people. That's all I want. I want to do it for the people here, for the owners who have been fantastic people, and for the players. Now we can look forward to playing the Premier League next year.
And what does it mean to you to take this club back to the Premier League?
It means everything to me. My wife's up there, my grandkids, and for them it's fantastic.
Congratulations, Harry. Thanks for joining us.
Finished 1-0 here at Wembley in the most dramatic of circumstances, with 10 men after Gary O'Neill was sent off early in the second half. Bobby Zamora has scored a 90th minute winner for QPR. QPR are back in the Premier League. If you follow me, Junior Hoilett, a word please. How do you feel you're a Premier League player once again?
Oh, it feels great. We stuck in there where we had everything against us, but we kept going and we kept believing. We worked hard all week in training, and tonight we're going to celebrate it.
Did that show how together this squad is? Everything was against QPR, and yet we've won it.
Of course, we stuck together, we stayed compact, and now we're in the Premiership. We worked hard all the way through the game, and we kept believing.
And what did these fans do when the times were tough?
Oh, they kept us on our side. They kept us going, and they were our 12th man today.
Many congratulations, Junior. Congratulations. OK, let's head over here. Karl Henry is currently talking with Kevin Doyle. Karl, Kevin, if you'd like to join us. Firstly, Karl, how dramatic is that for a finish?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I just don't know how, you know, we're down to 10 men, odds are against us, they're on top, they're putting us under pressure, and Bobby's come up with a wonder finish, and everybody's elated, and so are we, I think.
What instructions were you given when you came on?
Just work, run your nuts off, run as much as you can, do as much work as you can. We're down to 10 men, what can we do? And I think we're just trying to get to penalties, I think, and for Bobby to pull a finish out the back there is magnificent.
Great stuff, congratulations. Over to you, Kevin. Incredible scenes, how are you feeling?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I just spoke to Murph, half joking, it'd be a great time to score now when the 86th minute or 7th minute come up. What can you say?
Could you see it happening because it was wave after wave?
We were praying for just get to the end of extra time, get the penalties. You know, that's what we've taken all day long, and you know, still shell shocked. Can't believe it.
Okay, and just a word on Rob Green. He kept QPR in it.
Yeah, great saves. You know, a lot of things that could have bounced over his body and stuff that he held on to, and you know, some good kicking. You know, honestly, I'm hard to come up with words to describe that feeling when that goal went in. You know, unbelievable.
How long were the 3 minutes?
It went pretty quickly. I was expecting him to put on more because of the celebration for the goal, but he blew it up right on the tree, and unbelievable.
Many congratulations, well done, Kevin. Okay, let's just head over here and we can catch a word with Nedum Onuoha. We will. He's very fast, but we're catching him. Nedum Onuoha, a quick word if we can. How are you feeling?
I feel absolutely fantastic, mate, because this is such a great day. You know, people say it's a great occasion to come here, but winning it's extra special.
And everything was against us. You, Richard Dunne, the entire back four, Rob Green as well. Wave after wave. Could you see us doing it?
I always believed we could, you know, especially with people like Bobby up front. I've said for the whole time I've been here, he's been one of the biggest players at this club, so to see him do that in his last game, it's amazing.
And a word on these fans?
Absolutely incredible. I've never seen so many flags before, never seen so many fans. I'm over the moon.
Congratulations, Nedum. Okay, let's head over to Danny Simpson if we can. Oh, come with me, Adam. Danny Simpson. Simo.
Can't believe it.
Well, no swear words, please. No bleep machine. Okay, how are we feeling?
I can't put into words. Go down to 10 men. It looks doom and gloom, but semi-final proved it. The spirit. Go down to 10 men in a final to get back into the Premier League, and we didn't give up. We just defended, and we said one chance, and he fell to Bobby, and what a man to fall to. He's top class, and credit to him. He done well semi-final. He come on, he made the difference, got us to the final, and today he's done it. And every single one of us just went to 10 men and just worked our socks off, and we didn't give up.
And what does it say about the togetherness of this group? Because no one fancied QPR after we were down to 10 men.
No one fancied us anyway. So go down to 10 men, but we believe in ourselves. We knew we had a point to prove, and it was only us that could do it on the pitch. And forget the talking, we've done it on the pitch today. Yeah, Derby had a lot of the ball, but we proved you dig in. And look what happens now. No one will talk about how much Derby had of the ball, and one of them has to lose. Sorry to them, but we're up.
Okay, and finally, just a word on these fans.
I don't know what to say, mate.
Well done, Danny Simpson. Fantastic news. And let's head over now to Charlie Austin, who put in an incredible performance, playing at left midfield on many occasions. Charlie, you are a Premier League player. How does it feel?
Brilliant. Brilliant. I can't... don't know what you want me to say.
You're a natural on left midfield.
Never want to play there again, but I did it for the team. It's all about the team today. Putting a great performance. I feel sorry with Gaz obviously getting sent off, but do you know what I mean? We've had a right go, and Bobby just putting that in. Different class for us.
QPR found a way.
Found a way. Everyone writ us off the whole season from the start. Too much money, too many players, too many this. We're in the Premier League where we belong.
And that's where these fans belong, don't they?
Exactly. Been different class tonight all season. We're there now.
Well done, many congratulations. Okay, and the final word will have to go to Rob Green if we can sneak in. He's looking absolutely shattered. Rob, just a quick word. How on earth did you keep them out?
Well, I don't know. I'm just there. That's my job. And sometimes it comes off, sometimes it doesn't. I'm old enough to know that you've got to do it well enough in football sometimes. And the big occasion, that's why you do what you do, and why I'm, hopefully playing for QPR. And delighted for everyone here, delighted for everyone at the club, delighted for all the fans. We've put a few wrongs right, and I've got to go and get my thumb put back in now.
You've damaged your thumb?
Dislocated it with about 25 minutes to go, so I feel a little bit sick right now.
You did that with only 9 fingers, incredible. Many congratulations, Rob. Rob Green there dislocated his thumb with 25 minutes to go, but he kept Derby County out. QPR are back in the Premier League.
Half an hour they had their backs against the walls. For half an hour we were all wondering how soon it was going to be before Derby got that telling breakthrough. But the combination of luck that you always need on an occasion like this and real solidarity, a classic example, Don, of digging deep, and somehow they have dug it out.
Digging deep indeed. I mean, it's unbelievable. Harry Redknapp can't believe it, the players can't believe it, the fans can't believe it. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it, but it's that moment. You kind of always wondered whether they could hang on and take it to penalties, but never beyond your wildest dreams did you imagine they could go up the other end and get a goal. There was just no sign of it whatsoever when they went down to 10 men, but Junior Hoilett dug deep. A mistake, defensive mistake, and Bobby Zamora was there to pounce, and that's all it takes.
And all this achieved against a backdrop of expectation from the very start of the season. Their colossal wage bill has been well documented, their high turnover of players, the way that they tried and failed to stay in the Premier League has all drawn a lot of attention. And against the backdrop of that, they've had to find a way back, and they've done it the hard way through the playoffs. But they have done it. No one happier, no bigger smile in the whole of London, the whole of England, as big as the arch from Tony Fernandez and as the chief executive Philip Beard. They will be as relieved as anyone with the enormous riches on the balance sheet that will be coming Queen's Park Rangers' way, courtesy of their immediate return to the top flight. But it's footballing riches and a chance to revisit all those iconic places of English football that really concerns the supporters. 40,000 of them from Queen's Park Rangers coming out of the woodwork for today. And Bobby Zamora, some people are just blessed with luck on the big occasions, and Bobby Zamora, not saying that it was a lucky finish, but he was the right man, right place, right time again. Most players never get to score a goal to take their club to the Premier League. Bobby Zamora has done it twice.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Queen's Park Rangers reduced to 10 for the last half hour of the match. Have done it. The Hoops are back in the big time. Queen's Park Rangers, Clint Hill, Joey Barton, Richard Dunne, all heading back to the Premier League. West London supporters delirious in North London today. And what sporting applause from Steve McClaren, the coach who started the season at Loftus Road. And what came for Derby County and their players. A perfect illustration, Don, really, of the massive chasm we talked about earlier between success and failure on this day of all days.
Absolutely, and congratulations to Derby, Steve McClaren, Richard Keogh, and all of them. They stood there and they watched Queen's Park Rangers lift that trophy and celebrate, and more than that, they applauded them. Fair play, it's a touch of class.
Well, he's lifted the FA Cup on those very steps, Harry Redknapp. I think he needs to get ready for a bear hug here.